one of them is completely avoidable if you know what you're doing. Mistake number one, holding digital assets in your personal name. I don't know how many families I've met with, and this includes family offices, that are holding digital assets in their personal name because their attorneys or their professionals just don't understand this asset class and how it can be involved with the regular way that they structure their estate. So personal ownership, it's going to open you up to maximum liability and exposure. Every asset in your name is discoverable and vulnerable in lawsuits. And I know you're going to say, hey, look, like I lost my keys in a boating accident. And I'm going to tell you why that's probably not going to work in the very near future. So high net worth individuals are statistically more likely to face litigation. God forbid something happens. Somebody falls on your property, you rear end somebody. Look, life happens, right? And if somebody else finds out that you have a bunch of money, guess what? They're going to come after you and you need to protect yourself. So digital assets in a personal wallet, they're particularly vulnerable. And I know you're going to say, well, again, like private keys, nobody has access to this. Look, these are public blockchains. Okay. All of these transactions are available out there. All they need to know is what exchange it came from and what wallet it went to. And they can see exactly how much you have. And again, like you said, well, most people are going to say, I don't have access to it, da, 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 da. It's just come out from Ledger that if they were subpoenaed by the government, they would give over your seed phrase and your private keys to whoever they need it to. Okay. All of these other wallet manufacturers, it's yet to be seen if they're going to do the same thing. And they talked about an opt-in to upgrade the firmware. And they were met with a ton of backlash because the whole point is the privacy that you get from their product. So again, just another deal for Ledger here. Not so great. But look, you would also want this if there were terrorists, if there were other people that were bad actors or committed fraud, if somebody stole a bunch of crypto from you, you would also want them to be able to recover that, right? So it's kind of a double-edged sword here. The solution for all of this, though, is to get your assets structured in an LLC. A digital asset LLC creates legal separation between your personal and your business assets, okay? So again, somebody sues you, there's going to be a corporate veil that's like a wall between your personal assets and the business if you structured it correctly and you've done all the documentation and everything that we're going to talk about in this video and later on because of some of the other mistakes that people make that allow people to pierce the corporate veil. But if you have that in place, all they can do is put a charging order against you or your LLC. And if you've structured yourself as the first creditor, they're probably not going to get anything. So properly structured LLCs are nearly impossible to pierce, especially if you're working with the right people. So Wyoming actually offers the strongest LLC protections that are crypto friendly with the regulations in that jurisdiction. I get questions all the time. People ask me about Delaware or Florida or Texas, or I got one this morning about Arizona. Look, you could set up an LLC in any of those states. You get strong creditor protection there in Wyoming. And then additionally to that, also no state taxes in Wyoming, and they have all of the best crypto regulation already built in there. All the statutes and everything are in place for you to be able to operate in the best and cleanest capacity with the most protections if you do it in Wyoming. So that's why we always set up all of our clients, LLCs, they're in Wyoming if they're domestic here to the US. Sometimes if they're international, I know we're going to get that question here, and we'll cover that later, but you get all of these additional benefits if you're doing it through a Wyoming LLC. And it's minimal cost in comparison to the exposures that you're going to have if you're holding these assets in your personal name. I would even look at it like insurance, right? Like you're paying this, same thing you pay for car insurance, your house insurance, you're mitigating that risk of loss later on. So if it's a couple $1,000s, you know, especially if you have a large amount of digital assets, it's well worth that cost to make sure that your assets are protected.